Welcome to today's episode with the Business Club or the Entrepreneurs Club. It's hopefully all of you are excited about starting your own business, or maybe you already have your own business. But before we move forward, there's one step or one prerequisite that's very, very important. Some studies show about 70 to 80% of businesses fail in the first year, or sometimes even the first 2 years. So more than half of small businesses fail, according to some studies, in the first year or maybe even the first 2 years. Fail means they can go bankrupt and close door, or they're not making money for a year or two. So now if I'm going to start a small business, I want to find out what those reasons are, and I want to make sure that I avoid them. So what we did in today's episode is we got you the top 24 reasons that small businesses fail. That way, if I go through the checklist and avoid those 24 issues, or I fix or resolve those 24 issues, more than likely my business is going to be successful. So let's run through those 24 issues why businesses fail normally, and make sure that we don't fall on those pitfalls so that our businesses are successful. Number one, you tend to start your business for the wrong reason. I want to start a business. Yes. Why? Well, I've worked so hard my whole life. I just want to stay home and do nothing, and money works for me. That's not a business. Or I want to start a business to prove so-and-so wrong. No, you have to start the business for the right reason. Okay? But if you're starting it thinking that, hey, I'm just going to start a business and I'm going to be a millionaire and it's going to run itself by itself, it doesn't work that way. A business is like a baby. You got to, feed them and clean after them and change their diapers and everything else. Little by little they grow, and then you scale, and then you have multiple businesses or multiple babies. And then after that, they start carrying themselves, and you get to see the fruits of what you're doing. So always make sure you're starting the business for the right reason. Number two, failure to understand the customer behavior today. Literally a couple of days ago, I went to a mall that I used to shop at about 20 some years ago. I went to the mall and I was so heartbroken because more than maybe 1/3 of the stores that were there that I knew growing up are closed. I mean, the mall stores are actually closed. There's nobody in there. It's vacant. What I felt is, you know what? I want to go and open one of those stores and I could sell this mall. There's a lot of people that live around here. But if I did that, I would have missed the most important thing, is that the customer behavior has changed today. 5 years ago was where more than 50% of customers stopped shopping at stores, brick and mortar, and they started shopping online. So if I have a product that I want to sell, if I'm smart, I want to start selling it on Amazon and eBay and my store and my website and Shopify before I go and sign a lease for 1 or 2 years, most times. Okay, so the customer behavior, you want to find out what's your customer behavior. What do people like, so that I can go after their needs more specifically. Number three, lack of strategic and effective leadership. One of the biggest challenges is the person that starts the business is very passionate about that. If I open a restaurant, dude, I love to cook. I'm in the kitchen. I'm cooking 24/7. Is that where I'm supposed to be? No. I'm supposed to train a manager or a shift or a cook or a chef how to do that. I should be focused on 3 months from today. How are we going to grow the business? 6 months from today, strategically and effectively. 1 year from today, our business should grow from here to there. We should have multiple branches. So as the business owner, I should not be stuck on the day-to-day minor things. I should be focused more on strategic goals and make sure that I'm effective in doing that as well. Number four, poor management. Failure to delegate, ignoring critical functions. One of the biggest issues, especially for business owners, we're very passionate about our business. We start to micromanage. Micromanage might be good for a day or two, but after that, you have your standards, you have your SOPs, standard operating procedures, you have training, you hire people to watch that for you. So poor management is the fear of delegating for other people to do what needs to be done and rather wanting to do it myself. So I fail in doing the critical, important, strategic things. Number five, failure to build an employee tribe. Normally speaking, a business where employees love to come to work and they feel that they're part of something and they're building something together are going to be successful. Normally when employees just, they go to work, they punch in, they do what they need to do, they walk out, there's no creativity, there's no, their talents, they don't feel that their talents are being used, they don't feel it's a place that they can grow, they can't wait till the next job so that they can leave. The only reason they do what they do is because they're afraid of the owner or something to that effect. It doesn't grow. So failure to build an employee tribe. Number 6 is lacking uniqueness and value. Suppose they open a pizza store. Guess what? There's hundreds of Pizza Huts and hundreds of Domino's pizzas across. But yet, if you walk around, there's a lot of pop and mom stores that sell pizza, and they're very successful. There's lines out there. It's because they found something that made them unique and gave them special value. They cook it, the deep pan thing and the breadsticks and the way they put this and the wings, they do them differently and spice it differently. They're able to compete with the bigger stores. So you want to make sure that you're unique and give value for whatever product you're selling. Lacking uniqueness and value then becomes one of the reasons for failure. Number 7, no business plan or poor planning. One thing that we normally say is people never plan to fail, but they always fail to plan. We never plan to fail, but we fail to plan. And as such, it's very important to have a business plan. We're going to talk about that in one of the future sessions, how to create a business plan. But for now, it's very important for us to realize that we need to have a business plan, where we're starting, what are our benchmarks, how are we going to grow, who's our competition, what's our budget, how are we going to meet this, how are we going to meet that. So everything is written out, spelled out. It's a roadmap, and we're following that roadmap, and hopefully we exceed our expectations. Number 8 is an unprofitable business model. Unprofitable business model. So sometimes we go all the way out. So, I'm going to open this office as an attorney or an accountant or whatever, and I'm going to make sure it's a downtown. And so I have $20,000 and I sign a lease where I'm spending $30,000 up front and this and remodeling. And before you know it, I just cannot support it. I just cannot support it. There's no profitability. A lot of times people might look at what interests them, and that's the practice that they're in, but they don't look at the budgets and the numbers. So whatever you choose, you want to make sure that it's a profitable model. Number 9, poor financial management, inability to control expenses. This is why part of the business plan is the budget. The budget means let's see what the capital that we have is. Let's look at what our expenditures are, the regular expenditures. Let's put another 10, 15% of that money. Just save it aside for a dark day. You never know what's going to happen in the future, for a rainy day. So those are the kind of things. We want to make sure we have a budget and better financial planning. Number 10, rapid growth and overexpansion. Right now, if you go order a brand new car, whether it's a Toyota or a Tesla, for example, sometimes you have to wait 6 months or 8 months because of supply chain, because they are so successful, they can't provide enough cars to people on time. And that happens a lot with small businesses. Sometimes it's the opposite. Sometimes we have too many customers, but there is enough space for them, or there is enough product for them, or enough service for them. Guess what they do? They leave to the person next door, and they never come back again. Number 11 is lack of sales. Failure to create an effective sales funnel. So a lot of times we're able to get someone to the door or to our website, but we're not able to convert that lead into a customer. And that's something that's very important. We want to make sure we have a strategy, that conversion strategy, that whenever someone walks into the door, we're able to attract them and get them in there. You're going to find that with a lot of car dealers. If you go to a car dealership, how they talk you into it. You go in just to look at a car, and before you know it, they're like, hey, well, we have this different car, we have that different car, and we have this special just for today. And the moment they say that, is like, okay, and you get this percentage off, and hey, just take it for a test drive. And before you know it, I was just looking at cars, and now I'm walking out of a dealership with a new car that I have 4 years of payments that I have to do. They're able to convert me as a lead into a customer. Number 12 is failure to optimize conversions, and that is to make it a more dynamic, a faster way of being able to sell to a customer. Number 13 is lack of authenticity and transparency. I'm a mechanic. I have a little shop. You bring your car in. What is it going to get done? Tomorrow's Wednesday. It's going to be done tomorrow at 2:00. I know I'm not going to finish it before Friday. And you come in tomorrow and I tell you the day after and the day after, and it's not done till Friday. And guess what happens? Yes, I made money out of you, but you're never going to come back to me because I wasn't transparent. I wasn't authentic in what I told you expectation-wise. So we want to make sure that the more honest you are, the more authentic, the more people know what to expect from you, the more people will come to you, trust you, and you can capitalize on that. Number 14 is understanding the competition. I need to know, who am I competing against? If I open, like I said, a pizza store, there's Domino's, and there is Pizza Hut. If I open a chicken store, there is Chick-fil-A and there's KFC. Why do people go to KFC? Well, we all sell chicken, but why do they go to KFC? Well, usually families in the weekends want a bucket and they want to buy that 9-piece or 18-piece. Okay, so I'm selling chicken too, but I need to create a bucket so I can compete with their bucket and add something to it, a couple more biscuits, and have my biscuits with a certain spice that makes it even better. Why do people go to Chick-fil-A? Well, they have this and people love their fries. I can have different kind of fries. I can add sweet potato and onion rings and the curly fries and things that. So always study your competition and see what puts you a step ahead of them. So number 15 is unable to compete against market leaders, which adds to the first one. How do I compete with the market leaders? How do I compete with KFC and Chick-fil-A? How do I compete with, whatever product that I'm selling? What can I do? There's a lot of big pizza stores like Domino's and Pizza Hut, but then you're going to find a lot of small pizza places, pop and mom stores that are selling a lot faster because there's something different. The way they do their deep pan and the way they do this and the breadsticks. You want the calzones and stuff. People want to go there because they found that niche and what makes them different and distinguishes them. Number 16 is the inventory management or mismanagement. A lot of times people go to a store to buy something and they're out, come back in a couple of days. Well, usually if I go to a place and they don't have it, chances are I'm not going. If I go to a Tesla dealership right now to buy a Tesla and they tell me, yes, you have $100,000, but we don't have a car for the next 6 months, I'm going to take my $100,000 to the BMW or the Mercedes or whatever else and buy a car. I'm not waiting 6 months because of that. They just lost the customer. So again, you want to make sure that you manage your inventory in such a way so that, before you run out, it's going to take you 2 days to get that product, then 4 days, 6 days before that, a week before that, based on your sales, you have your data and you go back and order so that you're always ahead of your inventory and you're never running out of things. Number 17, there's no market or too small of a market. So if I'm building a business, I want to make sure I'm building it in the right location. If I'm going to open a car dealership in a poor neighborhood, relatively lower income neighborhood, I don't want to be selling Rolls Royce and Bentleys in that neighborhood. Guess what? I just got to deal with this, office that sells, Lear jets and private jets, for a couple of $1 million. And my spot actually is in that poor neighborhood. My office is there. Well, I'm not going to have any customers. So you always want to make sure that your market or your office or your presence is in the right place. Same thing with the website. If you go electronically, you also want to make sure your website, the name of the website, the design of the website represents your business and not misleading, or people will not visit it because they might assume something else. A joke that I have is, for the longest, I used to live less than a mile away from a cheesecake factory. And for years, I never went there because I thought all Cheesecake Factory had was cheesecakes. And I was invited there one time, and oh my God, they have the best steaks and Italian food and salmon and just unbelievable, a great menu. But I never went there for years simply because the name was misleading. So the wrong location, the wrong title, the wrong web address could be very misleading. Number 20 is marketing mishaps and lack of online presence. Marketing is very, very important. And as you get into business, you need to find your options. So a lot of people think marketing is just me telling my friends and my friend telling my friends, or me giving away business cards. Well, that's one way of doing it. But now there's that online presence. It's having your website, it's having your social media, your TikToks and your influencers and your Facebook page and promotions, and going to something like a Vistaprint where you're printing, T-shirts and pens and calendars and just multiple ways and different ways of doing marketing, but also following on your campaigns. You can go online and you could see how many people came to this ad and how many people came to my YouTube channel and how many people came here and how many of those visited the website and ordered something. So there's different ways to have those campaigns and also see how much people built based on those campaigns. Number 21 is underestimating administrative tasks. There's a lot of businesses where people have talents and they did so great with their talents, but they missed the simple paperwork that they needed to sign this for the inspection every 30 days or every 15 days or every 60 days, do their taxes, or every whatever days. That little administrative task was the reason the whole place got closed down and they lost their business. So as you're passionate about your business and growing your business, there's certain administrative work that you could do or delegate to someone else, but you have to make sure that it's also done. Number 22 is refusal to pivot. Every 6 months, things change around us. people habits change. And so it's very important for us to succeed in our business, to be able to pivot, to make changes in our business structure, business model to better meet the needs. Again, there's two restaurants. Personally, I cannot tell the difference. I cannot tell the difference whether I go to Subway or Quiznos. But 10 years ago, I have friends that owned Subway, and oh my God, they were so rich. And others that own Quiznos, they were doing very poorly. Today, it's the opposite. My friends that own Quizno restaurants are doing so good. And the ones that are owning Subway are not doing as good. It's because people started to think of things such as, organic food and this and that. And you'll find like things like Chipotle. Chipotle is growing like crazy. Very simple concept, but it's because they saw what today's generation is looking at: organic food and my choice of this and my choice of that. So small changes have you need to pivot. You need to be able to change certain things every 6 months or so that you're meeting with your business and you're running with your customers. Number 23 is lack of data. You want to make sure you're always looking at your data. You're always looking at your sales. What product am I selling the most of? What product did we sell last month that we're not selling this month? Or what product we didn't sell that month that we're selling this? The kind of customers that I have, are they younger, older? How can I target them? How can I market better to them? What campaigns sold more? Where did I get more customers from? Is it from Facebook? Is it from the YouTube channel? Is it from the website? Is it from the emails that we're sending? I need to collect all those emails and see. Again, there's a lot of reports and CRMs that when you send out 1,000 emails, it's going to tell you how many opened those emails and how many forwarded those emails and how many were interested. So always study your data. Lack of data is equal to business failure. Number 24, and the final one, is a question that I need to ask myself honestly. Is my business a hobby or a business? Is it a hobby or a business? What's the difference between a hobby and a business? A hobby is where I do what I'm passionate about. It's a restaurant. I love to cook. I'm cooking and I have regular customers. They love coming to my restaurant and I love having them. But if you ask me about my business, are you making money? I say, well, I don't make a lot of profit, but I love what I'm doing and they love it. Then that's not a business. That's a hobby. A business is where you have a goal of making $1,000 this month and you meet it, but next month I'm supposed to make $1,500. And then the month after that is $2,000. Then 6 months from today, it's supposed to be $5,000 a month. And if I don't, I'm working on how I can increase my profit and profit model and stuff so that I'm getting there. I'm growing as a business. But a lot of people tend to treat it as a hobby. A hobby means today I'm making $1,000. After 6 months, I'm making $1,000. After 10 years, I'm still making $1,000, but I enjoy it. And no, you're supposed to enjoy it. It's your hobby. But as a business, you're increasing your profitability. You're scaling. You're opening other branches. You're coming with new products. You're trying to find your cost savings and so on and so forth. So always find the different ways that you can move from just making it a hobby to making it a business and a hobby. Hopefully those 24 reasons are in our checklist. We check through them to make sure that we don't fall on those pitfalls so that we don't fail in our business and hopefully are able to come up with a great business. I wish all of you the best of luck.